What is up, guys? Got a fun deck for you today. Today's deck, we're looking at Bounty again, one of my favorite decks, and we got some nice buffs going on here. I won't kind of delve too much into them. They're pretty self-explanatory, but I will discuss leader a little bit, and then just kind of what the changes mean. So first thing up, Blood Money leader now is really strong. And one of the huge benefits of it is as you're destroying all these bounties, your leader is already just a carryover thing. Like, it's something that, you know, the value is always just sitting there waiting and can be pushed to a later round. But with this one, you're increasing that value that can be saved for a later round, and it can get up really high really quick depending on rounds. You can definitely have, you know, a Blood Money leader damage a unit by 13, and you know, you want to go for coins on that, you damage a lower one and try and get yourself up to 9 coins to then spend, you know, have a little bit better spending efficiency. With now Octavia Hell, really strong card with that, you know, 2 for 3 going on. Something though that I think, and with Gwent kind of approaching the end of its support, this might be the kind of last little touch up we get for Bounty, because I imagine they're going to go through and kind of make sure a lot of the different archetypes are set. And there's just still kind of a little bit this awkwardness where Syndicate already has this issue of you got to get coins and then you have to spend them. So that already applies to Bounty. And then Bounty has this added thing on top where you're having to like try and get bounties. So you're having to balance these three things of, okay, I need to get coins, and then I need to get bounties out, and then I need to get things that can destroy it. And it can make your hands very awkward. And you'll see in some of the things where I'm just trying to decide, like, what do I play? Like, how do I sequence here? And there are definitely things that, you know, go past that. Kayla Menga and Witchfinder can sit out there, and then you already have something on the board that can consistently put out bounties. You know, if your damage units stick, like Scoundrel or your Witch Hunter Executioners or Freak Show, again, that's all going. But when you're going into a round and you're trying to balance, like, okay, do I get profit down first? You know, do I get bounty down? Like, how am I sequencing? It might not seem that big a deal, but you will encounter in games where it's a balancing act. And what I would recommend to do typically is you get some profit in, like Confession Extractors are a great opener. You wait for a unit to come down, then you're going to get the bounty on it. Slander, again, is really good for that because it's bounty and profit. Wait till the bounty is the first one's down, and then drop your Freak Show, drop your Executioner, kill it, and then hope they stick, and then every time they're playing units, you just keep dishing out bounties. A lot of different ways you can build the deck. This is kind of the approach I went for to try and balance the act of making sure we have money, making sure we have spenders, making sure we have ways to give bounty. It seems to do pretty good. We were winning a lot of games with it. So, hope that's kind of a decent little overview of what to expect with playing this deck, and let's go hop in.
How can I help?
Okay, first matchup we have Imperial Formation. Not really the leader deck you want to see as Bounty because of all that armor. A lot of extra work for us, and because they're relying so much on armor, a lot of the units' base strength is lower, kind of, you know, from the design balancing perspective of, you know, CD Projekt Red. So, you know, we're not going to be like hauling in a whole lot of cash when we finally kill these guys. So kind of wasting some of our coins here to do it. Really tough matchup. But fortunately, we have the good coin. The coin you really want to see in many cases as a bounty deck, because you don't really have an amazing round one unless you really want to slam down some golds, which I personally don't like doing. I like saving my resources, but I don't really think that's the popular way to play anymore. I think it's really just slam them all out and just deathmatch the entire time. But anyways, if you play like me and you try to play a little bit conservatively round one, if you can help it, this deck doesn't do good round one. And I know I also just said that in the last video. I definitely slamming down a lot of golds in it, but that's a Nova deck, so that doesn't count. And opponent starts out with Spotters. Finally are nerfed into somewhat reasonable range. What an annoying card at its height. But really, as with most things, it's not the card itself that's the issue. It's the fact of how much you can replicate it, right? Same thing with Reavers. Reavers themselves aren't so much the issue, it's the fact that Northern Realms can create an absolute billion of them, and Idoran too, which is always just such a troublesome card. I'm so shocked that card has never been nerfed. Because a lot of those meme decks, those decks that were really annoying, Idoran was the one that really pushed it, like the Gurney-Chora, I don't know how to say it, the fruit one with that, you know, just absolutely ridiculous. Anyways, back to the game here. That light cavalry card, you get 2 of them, it gets real scary. They very potentially can just wipe almost everything you're playing if you have low base strength. Really solid engine. But you can see I started out with the Confession Extractor because I'm staying unitless, and you want that. You want to stay unitless if you can against a deck like this, which is going to gain a lot of value from damage engine. So by staying unitless, we gain quite a bit from it. Fortunately, we can go ahead and knock out one here. You can kind of just see my sequencing there, right? Like, get the bounty down, get some coins down, and then I play my Witch Hunter, Executioner. So that's a little bit what you're looking for, so it can at least get some value on deploy. Also considering putting Bleed here, because I imagine it's getting removed, so I'm going to go ahead and try and get some value out. And I'm ignoring the one with Vitality, because though it knocks off the Vitality it can achieve, I want more immediate points for the sake of tempo. And opponent is kind of not necessarily straight up throwing at this point, but really utilizing all of his leader when I don't think he really has to. And it's very indicative of being a Renfrey deck if you're just throwing leader out like that. He's got Vitality ticking, and then anything I play, he's got 4 damage dealing out. I don't really want to play much else in my hand, because it's just, if I play it, I'm going to have to commit so much more after it to catch up, and it'd just be overcommitting at that point, so we're just going to go ahead and pass. There's no point playing into that. Mulligan him away because, hey, he's not built up yet. Get rid of... What's that card's actual name? I kind of forget right now. Totally just blanked. Ignatius, right? Yeah, Fabian's the other brother. Yeah. And then the Brew is the better version, the stronger. That card's incredible, especially in Pirate's Cove. Alright, we'll see what our opponent does here. I imagine there's going to be a full bleed. Yeah, there's Renfrey.
Yeah, it's Batiste.
And that's honestly, I don't think a lot of people talk about that as much, but that's one of the things that was really busted and strong with Renfrey, was the ability is that you could spend your leader in round 1 and be fine for it. Like, yes, it's better to save it in many cases later so you can use your leader and then the leader ability from Renfrey, but you know, round 1 can be the most important round in a game, depending on the matchup and who needs round control, and being able to use that leader ability and not be punished for it later because you're going to get a replacement. Very, very strong. One of the more overlooked aspects of how unbelievably broken Renfrey was for a while, and is still probably borderline. You know, it's weird that he did this. I guess maybe he was fishing for the cooldown one. But you'd think you would start with Rune Mage, because then you get to see more options with Renfrey. So probably a mistake on my opponent's side. So if you guys are playing Renfrey and Rune Mage, try and lead with that Rune Mage so you get a little bit better Renfrey out of it. You get to see more options.
Who spilled my ink?
Not too scared about that. Not like a crazy pull. It probably is something we'd go ahead and remove, because being Nilfgaard and stuff, you can get value from that.
Don't
But
spend it all in one place.
so we're gonna go and get hand correction. I want to get a spender down. putting Caleb back to consideration here because we already have Witchfinder, so I don't really want to double up on that. And Candle is maybe a questionable thing to put back, but some of the reasoning behind that is I want to really focus on things that are going to be purely focused on, because I already have a good spender down, with an efficient one with Octavia, and so then I want to focus on stuff that are like getting bounties out and being able to destroy that, and those are my other spenders. And so I just didn't feel that Candle is necessary, even though it's very strong. So I could definitely see the line that you should definitely keep that. Just looking at my hand, I felt I had enough spenders and some decent profit with Pickpocket that it wasn't entirely necessary. Go and save it for later because, you know, hopefully I draw it. You never know if you don't, but getting that in round 3 will be a little bit more beneficial than I think it could be in this round. But that's not like a straight guaranteed. Definitely pulling out Sergeant here. We do not want him saving those for round 3. See, Confession Extractor is making my job a little easier. Opponent has a decent pass here. Okay, we need to respond to that. And see, like, if he'd saved his leader charge, could have protected that up a little bit more, you know, and then played your Renfrey later in the round, right? Because remember, I always say this, you want to play your engines early, get more value out of it, get a nice easy cleanup with that, get it out of there. Okay, looking like a Triss Meteor would be another thing he probably has in his deck with the way he's stacking that back row. I'm going to go and get Witchfinder out. Again, opponent has a pretty good pass here if he wants it. Might be worth taking. But, you know, if you have a bronze card in there that can still theoretically keep you ahead, it'll probably be worth it, because when you think about like bluffing and drawing out resources from your opponent, with my sequencing, it's looking like I have a very gold heavy hand. And so if your bronze cards can trade with gold cards and then you go into round 3 with more golds, you're in a really good spot. So it could be something my opponent's thinking of. Just from my perspective, like, I do need to keep this close. I need to get my engines going. That's unfortunate. Bounty's taking out. Basically, if I could just hang on to Brute, that'd be super ideal. I'm fine spending the rest of it, because a couple of them, like that Executioner's not going to be good in a short round. Freak Show potentially could be, you know, depending on the coin usage and how many units he has on his side. But if we go into a 3-card one, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, so we're fine spending it here. And I'm going to go and use it now because I want to clear his back row to prevent a really good meteor shower, and so get rid of those highest base strength ones. I considered clicking coins here to go and use it in case it gets answered, but decide against it. Decide to hold as many coins as possible, depending on what he plays. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, a decent hit, 12 points. But I don't know why you just put that in your deck. Guy's either memeing or there's a combo I don't really understand or know. Yeah, probably go Pickpocket, and we just need to delete the Scoundrel back there. If I was my opponent, I'd probably consider a pass here. He still goes for the meteor shower. So it worked out. We read the play correctly, and we really eliminated the value that that card could have gotten. So
Evil's not going anywhere.
fortunately, he has a pretty decent point gap here. He might pull Brute from us regardless. And that's a card we'd really like to keep. More so in the Pirates Cove version, because you know, a Profit 9 Brute that's boosting itself, and then you also have a Sea Jackal coming out is pretty hard to beat. We could try and dive with Bank, but I don't think anything is really getting us the well, I mean, if we hit that, we could, but it's too risky, so we just need to go Brute here and just play it safe. We'll get a little bit of carryover too, because we can use the one Crown, get a bleeding, and get into the next round by 1. Get 2 carryover, or potential carryover, I should say. I'm really shocked they haven't utilized the Crowns more, that it's only on Witchfinder. Like, you think they could implement that into some other cards or some of the new ones, but they kind of have a habit of doing that where they introduce new stuff and they kind of just don't touch it again. Like, it's shocking to me that Adrenaline has not been used more to balance cards. Like, we see it occasionally, like with Yurden, but I think Adrenaline is a really effective way to balance cards and a really cool mechanic introduced, and for the most part just kind of, it was Way of the Witcher and that's it. Well, we're happy with this hand. I'm keeping the Curt because I want the bounty. Put it on there to either, you know, take out with Horson Jr., get some extra value, or with Bank, I can probably pull like maybe a Graydon or something. Definitely staying uninteractive here. But yeah, you know, play Curt, get bounty, kill with Horson Jr., and then, you know, maybe, hey, we're pulling out Ignatius, you know, getting him full up to strength. So I wanted to keep something that was, gave me a bounty, but it's also just 6 points, you know, it's not like one of the 4P ones. So ooh, that is scary, especially if it goes on to Nausicaa. It goes under Slave Infantry. Okay, Slave Infantry's scary here though, because he can just transform, because we know he has another one in hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this out, but it's gonna just get transformed, and we actually, he gains a point now. Slave Infantry are a decent counter to this. Yep. Thank goodness though it wasn't Nausicaa Sergeants. That probably would have been even worse, because we wouldn't have been able to kill him. I guess I could kill the Ramon, put bounty on Ramon, and then kill it with Horson Jr. and get 4 coins. Boost up my Ignatius by another 4. Ooh, right at top, very nice. We don't have last save, so it wouldn't matter to try and save it. If he has a Vilgefortz or anything, he can just kill it, so not much we can do. But a Conjurer's Candle is gonna kind of destroy here in a second. Really good that we kind of have like the low value of it, a lot of coins in the bank. So we need to spend once here because we're gonna gain 1 extra coin with Junior. Nice little effect of him. And then just spread the love. Might need to be scared of Igni. What is Igni? Is it 25 now instead of 20? I'm just scared to do the back one because I'm expecting a Vilgefortz more, so it's kind of tough to choose. So if it is 25, we're kind of screwed in the front row with an Igni, but I didn't want to make his Vilgefortz even better, so. Because I'd imagine it's Vilgefortz over Igni. And we'll see if that's a correct prediction. I can't talk. Man, he's having a really hard time picking here. Okay, it is Vilgefortz. We made the correct call.
An interesting choice.
Close game. Tough matchup. We pulled it out. Feels very, very good. Let's move on to the next one. Overwhelming Hunger. The consume decks are interesting with bounty because you put bounty on stuff, and so you're not negating the points when you kill it in some ways because they're still getting benefits of it dying. You're preventing the points that are kept on consume. So there's kind of that aspect, but then also if you put a bounty on it and they go and consume the unit, it still activates the bounty. So they get to keep the points and the effects, but you get the coins. So it's an interesting matchup. Again, we're just going to start with Confession Extractor. And against Overwhelming Hunger, under like no circumstance should you like play a unit that's high in strength or play it and boost with your stratagem, because Imperial Manticore, though not an auto include in every Overwhelming Hunger deck, you still will see it a lot. And this is interesting. This looks like a Ciri Nova deck. We'll really need to try and limit his use of the self-eaters. It's unfortunate that it halves the base power, because we'll take it out, but you know, we're not getting a whole lot of coins.
Evil's not going anywhere.
And we can go and safely boost that one up. We're not afraid. Well, other things could kill it, but nothing. Imperial Manticore isn't going to get to it. And we're just going to let stuff sit. We're going to wait till next round, and we'll continue.
Wouldn't touch a hair on my head, she said.
So, for you guys still watching or checking out this match, if you're more interested in this matchup versus the first one, what do you think is the kind of last thing Bounty needs if they're going to touch it at all before they cut support? I don't think they will. I think we might see some slight buffs, nerfs potentially, but I don't think we're going to see any new reworks or any new cards for it. But if they were, you know, what could it use? Or what slight buffs and nerfs? I'm curious what you guys think, because they've still thrown so much at it, and I think they could still keep working with the stuff they have, but I think until they address some of the issues of it, it's just not really going to change how prevalent Bounty could be, or would it ever maybe be a complete tier 1. But we'll see. You know, it's still early in the patch, people are still tinkering with stuff. Maybe one pops out. Yeah, and this is looking really scary though. This is, again, this deck just does not do good on blue coin. Just really slow and lacking tempo. Which, I mean, there's something you could address. Like Professor is probably something you might want to consider. You just want to play a little bit more fun cards, but like, that's something that really helps, you know, with a Bounty deck. And if you don't really care about anything interesting or going like combos, like, you should probably play that card, because it's good points, just straight up points, like you're at least getting 10, but it's putting a bounty and it's damaging, and then it also has just a decent strength of its own. You know, like, that is a perfect thing that bounty needs. It's doing several things at once. While also having a body, because some of your specials, you know, the profit input bounty or damage input bounty, but you kind of need that on a unit.
But bounty is one of those things that I also feel it is a little scary, that, you know, you tweak it just a little too much. Yeah, I don't know if that's the right consume, but hey, you're staying ahead, opponent. But yeah, you know, you tweak it just a little too much and all of a sudden it's super scary, and then everyone's just gonna be running massive control to get it. And I mean, it's got this new leader now. The new leader's probably too strong, but bounty could use it, because it's not only do you just get this increasing damage value and over damage is rewarded with coins, the leader can reset. And correct me if I'm wrong, but from at least a little bit I've seen, I've never actually had it happen, but from watching people, that reset like continues to grow in value, at least from what I've seen. Maybe I saw it wrong, but at the very least, even if it's just resetting and going to 1 damage each time, like, that's still really strong. It's got to be one of the highest point leaders in the game.
They're surprisingly clean creatures. It happens.
But I think that's just the reward for playing a specific archetype. Purge should be pretty decent here. You can clean that up, transfer a bounty. Well, it's good that we got that crown out early. You'd think you'd want to build it up a bit more, but I mean, the guy's staying ahead. And if you haven't noticed, like, we're probably losing this uneven, but what I'm gonna do, I'm fine going down a card. I'm just gonna keep playing. You just kind of already accept you know, you're losing uneven here. Like, you're probably losing a card either way, so just keep playing through if you have the cards to do it. With that though, I am going to pass, because I'm just not going to have, don't really want to use Candle here, and we probably still wouldn't win, so that's kind of the cutoff point where it's too much. So we'll see what happens. Honestly, would really hope for the dry pass, but if he's a Nova Golden Necker deck, he should not. Golden Kecker. Pretty decent hand here. I mean, should be able to survive a bleed. Witch Hunter Executioner could be our dry pass. We could also kick it, just kind of greed in for some more. Okay, interesting that I put Candle back. I feel that's something that I should probably keep, because this could really be a fight to the death.
It's a pity I can never finish.
Big old chunky boy. But again, that's just CDPR's kind of approach to anything. When they want to just buff a faction, it's like, give them the Gourd effect. Right, like Late Guardian, or whatever that card's called for Harmony, where it's just this huge point slam thing at the end that you get rewarded for playing Harmony. This one, for playing Bounty and destroying stuff, you get rewarded with this massive one. It at least has a cap. But, yeah, that's kind of their band-aid solution to trying to buff or patch or just design stuff, is just give it a Gourd effect, just give it this huge point slam thing at the end. And some of the effects and stuff, at least with this one, the effects are a little bit more interesting, whereas the other one is just so straightforward. That is Late Guardian, right? Or is Late Guardian the one that spawns off of the scenario and stuff? I'm honestly so bad with card names when it comes to commentating. My mind just like completely blanks. Judging off what he's playing, I think we're fine here. I think we'll make it to round 3. Yep, there's the Nova. So something that's going to be hard here is trying to get rid of the Nova, because we can't put bounty on it. And that shield is already really problematic. And so I guess like we could like use leader on something else, kill the bounty, have it reset, then use that one ping to hit Siri Nova. And then try and, well, I guess the purge probably wouldn't be enough. How many we would have? We'd have 4. Yeah, we'd be just short, unfortunately. But yeah, that Veil, we can't even put bleeding to take out the shield. Like, that card is pretty safe against a deck like ours. And Witchfinder's just gonna keep bouncing it. Oh, no, we got lucky. Okay, I think we're fine because we still have at least one or the other damage engine still on board. So he's not shutting down everything. Yeah, that was the right one to lock because the bounty one's a little bit more limited, whereas the bleeding we can spread liberally as we want. Yeah, we'll need to get rid of that apprentice. We need to. There's no way we don't play Purge here. Maybe should have tried a little bit more with my Executioner to get rid of some of those self-eaters. It's a possible misplay. Just really trying to do some kind of math here and setting myself up to try and save a card. And so it's either like maybe save a card or save leader, and we trying to save card if possible. Should use leader here. Yep. Okay, so we barely squeak by. Possibly save our card. Nope. Alright, well, we at least get to round 3. Looking a little scary there. He's got the carryover. I mean, we do as well. But we'll get 4 coins. But 8 points already on the board is a little bit more immediate, a little bit more guaranteed. So we'll hope for some good draws here. Okay, we're getting lucky with these Conjure Candle draws. Octavia is nice because it can get us Brute. Love to see it. Courage is potential keep, but also could kick to fish. Well, yeah, that's kind of a downgrade. Again, play Conjurer's Candle to be uninteractive. With that shield out there, there's no way we play Hysteria, and we don't want to lead with Octavia in case of Imperial Manticore. If he doesn't have an amazing hand, Conjurer's Candle could smurf for us.
In this town, it's crucial not to lose your head.
I guess it's kind of good we had a bad card because we have to shuffle it back. Wasn't even thinking about that aspect. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll split the Self-Eater so we have some lower power units to send some boost towards. And then spend with Conjurer's Candle, play Brute, spend the rest. But it's a huge point gap here. Fortunately, we get max profit, a little bit of over profit, but we're not jackpot. That boost by 9 is pretty helpful. Yeah, Conjurer's Candle, my goodness, what a card. So yeah, we got a lot more points there than I was expecting, but it's still winnable for our opponent. We just kind of gotta hope he doesn't have much. See what it is. Okay, and it's boost by 6. Ooh, that was a close one. Sweet. Well, hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope it inspired you to play some bounty, and I'll catch you in the next one.